The real enemy of the Fellowship of the Ring was never Sauron or Saruman, it was Gollum. It's easy to think of Gollum as an annoying critter on the side, set against the backdrop of the greater story of the Lord of the Rings. Sometimes it seems that he is only there for comic relief, and that his greatest purpose was to hang on to the ring as he fell with it into the fires of Mount Doom. Maybe you can say that he was a big help in guiding Frodo and Sam to the land of Mordor, but then in the end he did serve his own interests by leading them straight into Shelob's lair. He is an icon of the series, no doubt, but still, he doesn't look as big or as threatening as Sauron or Saruman. Nevertheless, he is actually the greatest threat to the Fellowship of the Ring. This is because what Gollum represents is the full effect of sin on the human person. Sin is not so much about doing something wrong, but about closing in on myself. Let's take the sin of anger, or to be more accurate, vengeance. The basic definition of vengeance is that it is a misguided sense or a misplaced sense of justice. Person X did something wrong to me, and so I must get something in return from person X. Maybe I should see him punished to make up for the wrong that he did to me. So if person X slapped me across the cheek,
I challenge you to a duel.
It's only fair that I hit him back.
I accept.
This will usually be accompanied with me seeing red and my attention focusing solely on person X, the way Gollum focuses on only one thing in the whole world, to get his precious back. This is problematic because I am narrowing down my perception of the situation. I am narrowing it down to how I perceive things should be, and in doing so, I fail to maximize the whole potential of the situation, as it were. For example, I can take that slapping incident as a sign that person X might be someone who is troubled by deep problems in his or her life. I could then choose to open up to this person, investigate further, and maybe help them with their problems. So what began as a slapping incident turned out to be the start of a healing journey for someone. I took that situation, and instead of turning it into a cycle of violence which leads us nowhere, I drew as much potential for life as I could out of it. Gollum's view of things is so narrow that literally the only thing he thinks of is getting his precious back. He appears to be the annoying character, sure, one that doesn't really have much use. And that's the point. Sin reduces us to uselessness. We are useful only to ourselves in serving the narrow view that we have of the world. In contrast, while the members of the Fellowship of the Ring are very far from being saints themselves, each of them performed some act where they put others before themselves. Yes, even him. And these were key acts in the progress of the story because they moved the quest forward. Frodo volunteering to take the ring into the heart of Mount Doom, even though it was quite clear that he had no idea what he was getting himself into. Sam carrying Frodo on his back instead of taking the ring for himself. Boromir giving his life to defend the hobbits Merry and Pippin, therefore establishing that the line of the stewards of Gondor is still noble and honorable, despite the antics of this guy. Merry and Pippin distracting the Uruk-hai, allowing Frodo to escape, and then later on helping the Ents to march to war, leading to the destruction of Saruman's home base. Legolas and Gimli putting aside their very deep ancestral hatred for each other, thereby establishing that we are our own people and we do not need to be tied down by the past. Aragorn finally growing the hell up and accepting the responsibility which he inherited. And Gandalf making sure that the Balrog indeed did not pass. Gollum, on the other hand, did not get anywhere. From the time that he found the ring, up to the point where he fell into the fire, he's still the same. No remorse, no growth, still despicable. Even compared to Sauron and Saruman, who at least still had some sort of ambition and still had some followers who respected them to some degree. And even the Nazgul, who despite being slaves, at least had Sauron, whom they probably hated more than they did themselves. Gollum is the worst possible outcome of the power of sin on the human person, and therefore the one to be feared above all. That's it for this episode. If you like this content, please do consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. If you would like to support the channel further, please visit the support links in the description. Hope to see you next time.